Anybody in there? Nope. Just a tent? Yeah. Totally looked like a person laying there. Missing his boots and everything, huh? Back here. Nice to got flowers. Hi there, police department. Fort Collins Police, wake up for me. Hey, the park's now closed, okay? So you got to pack up your stuff and move on, all right? All right, thank you. How's it going, guys?
It's going all right, yourself?
Not too bad. It's now 11 o'clock, so we're here reminding you that the park closes at 11.
Right.
The
We're
park.
not in the park, we're on the side.
No, you're not. This is in the park. The park extends to the street on both sides. It's not a public easement. So here's Zachariah. So listen, if you are still here when we return, you will be charged for remaining here unlawfully. So the park goes to the street, the curb line on both sides. You cannot be inside this park past 11 o'clock at night until 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm giving you your warning. It's now 11:04, so it's now after hours. You need to gather your stuff and leave the park.
That'll be a citation, correct?
It'll be a misdemeanor summons for unlawful conduct on public property.
Right. I looked that up online today also, and what we're doing is not actually unlawful conduct. So we'll see you in court.
All right. So if you guys are still here when we return, you will get a misdemeanor summons, and you are also subject to arrest. So please leave the park now that it is after park hours. All right?
Subject to arrest.
Because you're committing a crime. You're committing the misdemeanor crime of unlawful conduct on public property.
The ordinance is we are not.
Okay.
So,
All right.
again,
Well, I'm giving you guys
show up.
giving you guys a chance, giving you a warning. So please pack up your stuff. Pack up your stuff and move along. You got a lot of packing to do.
Not happening.
All right.
Staying right here. That's what we have.
Okay. Please listen better than these guys, all right, so you don't end up going to jail. Okay? Thank you. We'll give you a chance to get your stuff up and get out. Go. Where was he at when you got here? Okay. Hey, man. You were out here earlier when we talked to these guys, and we warned you about being in the park after hours, so I need to see your identification, please. Hey, you don't want to go to jail over this, so get your identification out, because you're going to be getting a ticket for being in the park after hours. Okay, you can set your phone down and keep it running. My camera's going too, so we'll have joint.
For the record, sir, I had spoken to two city officials at the real estate office earlier today over at Jefferson Park, who had specifically told me that this was an easement.
This is not an easement. Okay, I need to see your identification. The park boundaries go all the way to the street.
Told me personally when I looked up the lease.
Then you'll have an argument for court, but I need to see your identification. You'll be getting a ticket.
For walking through a park.
You've been lingering here since 11 o'clock tonight, so I need to see your identification. But you've been here back and forth. You're in the park after hours. You are in the park after hours. Give me your identification. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right, William. You cannot be. The park boundaries include the sidewalk. Okay. It is the park. You need to leave now too, or you'll get a ticket. You are in the park. You're in the park. I am in the park because I have to come here and write you guys tickets for being in here because you won't leave. All right. Because I'm working.
What am I supposed to do when I was told by people superior to you? You guys all work for us. I went and talked to my own city officials.
Okay.
And got straight to the horse's mouth. And I was literally told that on this exact actual right of way that I had the right of way to walk at all times of the day.
You don't.
These
this
are
is in the park. This area is closed.
Real estate office that used to be the police station because I was instructed to go there from the records department of the.
We have maps of the boundaries of the park, which include these sidewalks, and we are ordered.
I showed what is railroad property and what is leased for the park. I saw all the property, and I was told by your actual officials personally. So I'll see you in court, sir. Thank you.
Excellent. You're welcome. Okay. And that is your option and your right to argue this in court. But we have maps that show us that the boundaries go all the way to the street.
Yeah. No. I agree. She told me that the grass over here was parked. So we had an agreement that it went to the street. The easement was not part of that. She specifically told me.
Well, our city attorneys have said that this is not an easement.
That the actual sidewalk is not an easement.
It is not an easement. These are within the boundaries and are Jefferson Park.
You are literally telling me that I am not allowed to walk on this easement.
You cannot be inside Jefferson Park from 11 p.m.
Not walk on the street.
You cannot be in Jefferson Park from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. That's what I'm telling you, William. Walk across that street and then cross over. It's very easy. There's lots of ways.
My own city, which I'm a hometown native, paid for, which I contributed to, taxes toward a lease so that we could lease this out and define. And right of way is right of way, sir. This is the one exception, just because it's a leased park, that you can shut down a sidewalk from 11 to 5.
You are inside a park.
I was never on that sidewalk. I was never in the grass over there, and I was never in the
You
grass
are inside the boundaries of a city park that is closed. It's 2:30 in the morning. The park closed at 11 p.m. and it is closed until 5.
I personally already.
And I tried to tell you that earlier, but you didn't listen.
Who specifically told me. So,
well,
I don't care what you do, but thank you very much for being extremely ignorant of this situation.
You're welcome. You can argue it in court.
Absolutely.
This does not mean it's all over.
And what you fail to understand also is that what you're writing is actually a retaliatory ticket to a previous event.
No, it's not.
Which is to where you guys didn't write anything for 9 days until we told you that you guys were basically trying to play good cop and bad cop. And Officer Rogers got really pissed when I was like, hey man, if you're not going to write these tickets, leave them alone. And then all of a sudden, 16 hours later, so where was this discretion of Officer Rogers specifically told, which we have on film, that he was giving people for 9 days?
Well, I'm not aware of that, so I can't speak of that.
The Colorado has been covering this. You guys...
Is it D1 or 1D? Oh, no, you don't know. Oh, never mind. You wrote the other one.
And you guys specifically told people they could move to there.
I did not tell anybody that they could be there.
Officer Hopkins didn't do anything, and Officer Rogers.
Everybody here was warned well in advance that they were violating the city park curfew statute,
9 days?
and the camping statute.
9 days.
They were given advance notice of that and allowed to leave. They chose not to leave, and that's why they're being cited. And they continue to choose not to leave, and that's why they're being cited. They were given plenty of opportunity. We tried to help and educate them that they were violating the law. Oh, I'm doing the other one with this guy. I got to get it in there. Thank you, though. And that's why I let you know when you were here earlier that the park boundaries go to the street. Hold on, I can't hear you. I'll talk to you in a minute. Let me finish with him and I'll talk to you. This is the park all the way to the street. It stops at just over the railroad tracks and then at the street here. This is all park. Okay? All right. Hey man, I'm gonna have to write you a ticket. I'm gonna have to write you a ticket if you keep coming back over here. Okay. And you can't smoke in a public park, so you can't smoke cigarettes in here. What's the case number? Okay, you can smoke out there. No, I don't.
How far does the property go, guys?
14,900.
Hold on just a second. I'll show you a map if you want to see it.
Thank you. Show me a map.
900. Brought the paper one. Might be tough to see, but I will show it to you.
Because if you're using the same sources that I was instructed with, that I was personally showed by the tech department over at 281, it goes to the street, absolutely. It goes to the street, absolutely.
Street,
yes.
Railroad ties,
Yes.
parking lot.
Yeah,
Those are the boundaries of the park. Yep.
I'm saying that
And
I was
this is
told
not an
by
easement.
a different department that
Okay.
I was told to go to. The tech department told me to go to real estate services. So I went to real estate services, and guess what they told me? They told me it went to the street too, and that's exactly right. But that's not the point.
Okay.
We
Point
got
is
on a
this.
different conversation over east. I happened to notice that there was a right-of-way sign on the side of their hallway.
Okay.
So it looked like they were kind of the right-of-way people who decide, like, you know, license and so forth.
Unfortunately, this is not an easement. That has already been
That's
examined
what
by
they
our
told
city
me.
attorney's office,
So
and it's
you
not.
just-
And that's why when I came here earlier and told you not to be here after 11, and you did not heed my
you guys
warning,
told me not to
that's
be in
why
the
you're
park
getting it.
after 11.
And I said
I
this
was
was the
told
park.
by the officials that that's
Street
the
to
park,
street.
and that's the park.
Okay.
So
I told you at 11 o'clock tonight that you were in the park
cool.
and that you needed to leave.
All I wish that you guys would do
Okay.
is let this be something that you just give a ticket for and say, hey, we don't know what the definition is either because now our city officials have already told some other resident of the city that contradicts information that it's all just going to be something in court. What you guys do,
Well,
you make it
ultimately, yeah.
personal and good.
I'm not making it personal. I'm not making it personal at all. This is just my job. This is what I have to do. Yeah, I'm good.
I know what my rights are. I know
Okay.
who
What?
has told me what.
Okay, that's fine. And then I would just bring that to court when you go to court.
So what would you do if you were in my position? When
I
you're
would not
over
be
city
inside the
officials-
park when law enforcement told me and gave me an advance
No.
warning to not be in the park after hours. I would not be here.
Real estate told me. Law
Well,
enforcement
I'm telling you.
is another
Okay.
department.
I'll show you the
that-
map when we're all done. Let me explain this to you
No,
real quick.
it has nothing to do with the map.
Okay.
I was told
Well, yeah, we're not arguing. You were in the park. This is not an easement.
Okay.
This is the park boundaries. You don't get to just go through the park or stay in the park because you think that you can linger in the easement. You are in the park. Yes, it's park all the way to the street. You cannot. You've got to cross over and walk down the street. Okay, William, let me explain this to you. The top is just your personal information. Being charged with a curfew violation at the park. You have a mandatory court date of October 14th at 8 a.m. at the Fort Collins Municipal Court. The address is right there by the check box. Just need you to sign here. Does not admit guilt. You will have your opportunity to have this discussion, and you can do that at court. This just says that you promised to appear at that date and time. So I just need you to sign right there so that you promised to appear in court.
So let me ask this.
Sure. I'll
If
answer
I
your
was
question.
on an easement over there, which you would
Okay.
define as an easement, and I
I'm
was
not
on
going to
the side of
discuss
the
real
easement,
estate law with you. I am telling you that you were in the park after hours. You were warned not to be in the park after hours, and I came back
Actually,
many hours later, and
you
you're
guys
still
never
here.
spoke to me. I was over here,
I looked
and
right
I was
at you
never
and said the
told
same
what
thing
the
to you.
park was and what the
Okay,
easements were.
I told you the
thank
same
you very
thing.
much for not warning me,
Okay.
sir.
I
That is
need
very
you to sign-
disrespectful that you would actually bring that
You
up.
don't need a warning. Your ignorance of the
No,
law is not
no,
a
you
defense.
don't understand. I was told by actual city officials. They
Okay.
literally told me to
You
my
can discuss that at court.
face.
Okay. I need you to sign here that
I
says you- Are you
wish
going
I
to sign the
could be so
summons?
emotional about this,
Okay.
but I am just
Are you going
downright
to sign the
confused
summons?
now that you guys would tell me something contradictory.
William, are you going to
No.
sign the summons?
Look,
It
sir,
does not admit guilt.
I
It says
have
you
already
promised to bring
cooperated
court.
and given my
Yes, you have.
identification.
So
So,
are you refusing to
uh,
sign the summons? That's what I'm asking you.
Look, sir,
Are you
I
refusing?
cannot, look, I don't have any representation present. Like, I don't really know what you guys are talking about.
All right.
So,
Here's the thing. I will tell you, William.
you know?
If we return to the park and you are still here, you will be charged with a misdemeanor crime into county court if you are still here. A different crime than this one. So I suggest
the
that
one
you
that
leave.
you guys right
Yep.
there was ready unlawful conduct on public property, which, by the way, if you look at where the lines are drawn, which I was personally told, is
There in the
railroad
park.
property,
It's
federal
not.
property.
It's not.
leased
It's
as
leased
a
to the
public
city. It is a
park.
public park.
So how can you call it property when
Okay.
it's a park?
It's
when
a park.
owned by the railroad.
Well, argue that. Have fun
I
in
just
court
had to
and
let
argue
you
it.
know that one,
Okay. Thank you.
personally.
Take your and leave the park now. All right. Have a good night. Okay. You have to leave the park now.
You're telling me to move along.
You have to leave the park.
Can you please show me the statute for moving along, sir?
Okay, I'm going to write you another summons into municipal or into county court if you do not leave. And then if you don't leave after that, I'm going to take you to jail. And then you can go post a bond and see a judge and talk to him about why you refuse to leave. So would you like to leave now?
But you're telling me that
You can go stand out there in the street if you want, or stand across the
No,
street.
I just want
Listen to your friend.
that.
I'm going to charge you with a different crime, which is failure to leave this premises in violation of that municipal code.
Can you
right?
Can you, I just
No.
want, no.
I'm going to show it to you
I
on a
really-
court document that says you have a mandatory court date.
No.
to county court.
No.
Go
I just want
research.
one-
Unlawful
Okay,
conduct
look.
on public property. Go research it. You need to leave the park.
Look,
I'm not going to argue with you, William.
I really just need to know the statute.
It's 18-9-117. You can go to the public library and look it up.
Right here.
And you just
Give me time
recorded
to
it.
read it
No.
before I leave.
No. I don't have time for you to
Include
do your
moving
own
along.
legal research. You are violating the law by maintaining your presence in a closed park. And if you do not leave, I'm going to have to write you another summons because now you're refusing to leave after I wrote you one.
You realize that I haven't been to court yet for this.
It doesn't matter.
So
You
we
are
haven't
remaining.
even
You are
yet.
breaking another law now because you have been advised that you are violating the law. And now you are failing to
I've
leave.
been advised that I could potentially be violating.
Would you like me to write you another summons into a different court? Because you are basically breaking the law. You're violating another law now. So you need to leave the park, gather your bicycle, and leave. These people are going to go through the same problem if they refuse to leave. I'm giving you a chance to educate. Go. Yes, I can. You are committing a misdemeanor crime by not leaving this public place when it's closed.
So, if I understand, you write summons versus just yelling.
Yeah. Doing you a favor by giving you an opportunity to go to court without having to go to jail and argue your side. You should take advantage of that and go argue your side and not get yourself arrested or charged multiple times. It's not going to help your argument. So take that and take this opportunity to go argue your case on what easements are, if that's what your argument is. All right? But you need to leave the park. Thank you. All right. Do we? All right. Yes.
You're welcome. Because obviously every business is closed
Yep.
except for the Alley Cat.
We have no requirement to provide you restrooms out here for you. You're not supposed to be living in the park. You are living in a public park. This is not legal. Look, you have a giant camp set up out here, and you are residing inside a public park. No matter what you define it as, you are.
You guys for 9 days. It's not a camp. 9 days it took you to freaking give it one. Then guess what? No more camping. Now you come up with every other thing you thought you could.
Well, now you're violating a different law by failing to leave.
You don't have a clue. You can't tell me your own First Amendment. Tell me my First Amendment right. Not
video, for the record, not one police officer in this city can tell you your First Amendment right.
Zachariah, just remember, as I told you earlier, you are subject to arrest by maintaining your camp and living here in the park.
No, actually, according to ordinance and federal and state
Okay.
law, you are lying to me on
Yeah,
video
as soon as we're done with this.
right now.
All right. Hey, we've given you lots of opportunities
Giving you
to obey the law.
This is not opportunities, guys. We're federally
How-
indicting everyone. Wait 9 days.
How many days do they need to leave?
No, seriously, there was an article that it was occupied Jefferson Park. Don't tell me that they didn't have complete discretion given to them for 9 days.
I'm not sure what you're saying.
Something.
I'm not sure what you're saying.
There was 9 days until Officer Rogers came up and said to them,
And I have,
"Hey, guys,
and I have, no,
exercise discretion."
and I wasn't here. I wasn't with Officer Rogers. I don't know what your conversation with him is. We've been writing tickets out here for over a week for the same violations repeatedly, over and over and over. They will continue to be charged for violating those statutes. I can't tell you what happened before that. I don't know. But we do have discretion sometimes.
I've been a witness
Okay.
for 9 straight days. Officer Hopkins and Officer Rogers and everybody else that was involved with everybody that was there with them.
Well, during the day, when those guys work, the park is open. Yeah.
Specifically told them to move from there to there, and it was actually publicized in the article that they would stay away during the night.
Well, there might have been.
It was actually instructed for them to go on that side of the
Okay. Well, and
That's all that I'm reporting.
okay, no, and yep, and I understand that, and I don't know because I can't speak because I wasn't here 100%, but I can guess that they probably didn't know the exact boundaries of the park, and that's why they recommended that to them. But once we confirmed the boundaries of the park, we came and we warned them in advance that they were within the park, gave them hours of opportunity to leave the park prior to it closing, but they've chosen to stay here, and that's why they're being charged, okay? I wouldn't have charged you had I not been here right at 11 o'clock and told all of you with you standing here that what the park boundaries are and that you can't be here after 11, okay? That's why we're charging people. Okay.
Throw this out there. We'll see in court. But
Yeah.
basically, I was under the impression, like any other normal
Okay.
human being,
Huh?
that any other easement that any other park might other be a property of is able to be used at all times of the day.
And that's
so
why-
it's kind of strange that easements would be closed in a particular park. So if
Yep.
that's actually part of the
Just like any other park has sidewalks in it.
That is really illegal.
Okay. Well,
That
you-
other easements would be
I
the
understand.
way they are, and that you would, and then I would have the expectation of a normal easement
Okay.
and be confused over some property,
okay.
like that you would cite me, that
Hey,
you wouldn't cite me.
it's not like you got a ticket just because you were.
Another park.
It's not like you got a ticket just because you happen to be moving up this sidewalk right now on your way to go home from one location to another. You would not likely get a ticket for that. You got a ticket because you've been here for 4.5 hours.
I could loiter
Yeah.
over here on
And
this non.
Unfortunately, you can't because this is inside the park.
But I'm
Okay.
still out of the park
You're-
because you have not ticketed other people for being here in the same exact position.
We have
So you
every
have
night.
Zero consistency.
Well,
Zero consistency.
there doesn't necessarily need to be consistency. So.
So some cops drive by, which you notice, and others don't.
Well, it depends. We're very busy with other calls. Sometimes we're not busy with other calls, and this is an issue that we have to address. So we come here and address it. We can't bring a cop here every time.
Oh, there was the Colorado and went wild. I'm sorry, I have to say
Once-
these things because
William-
it
is it
is
William?
too hot.
William,
you guys are
don't yell.
such deep
I'm right
trouble.
here.
You
Don't
have
yell.
Zero consistency.
Will.
You have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what
Don't
they're
yell. Once we confirmed the boundaries of the park, we came and
doing.
gave them an opportunity to leave.
It's really bad that you
Okay.
that Officer Rogers wouldn't come out here
Hey,
and say that.
we don't usually deal with situations like this, so not all cops sit down and memorize the maps of every park in the city. So once we had a continual problem here, that's when we have to look and confirm the boundaries of the park so that we can address what the problem is. Once we confirmed that the boundaries of the park go all the way to the street, we came and gave them plenty of advanced opportunity to leave, just in case they did get bad advice that they were outside the park over there. We told them, this is still the park, you must leave. They refused to leave. That's why they're being cited. They know well in advance that they are in the park. They know that the park closes at 11 and stays closed till 5 a.m. And they also know that it is illegal for them to camp inside the park. But they maintained that here, and that's why they're being criminally charged for it. That's why. It's not because we're trying to trick them and we've changed the boundaries. This is what the boundaries are, and that's why they're being charged. We tried to give them an opportunity to leave. They are free to sit here and protest all day long from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., but then the park closes and they have to leave and go someplace else. There is availability right now at both missions. We've offered them beds at both missions. They choose not to go there. That's why they're being charged, because they're staying here.
And by the way, when you add up the number of beds there and the total number of beds here, and
it's more than the three of them.
There are way too many people. So please, that's almost an insult. That's almost harassment.
There is many programs available here for people to get off the streets.
Which I've actually used,
but they choose not to use it.
I was harassed at it, and I got one bed bug.
Those are privately run.
Health code.
Call the county health department if you're complaining about bed bugs. We don't enforce that.
No,
so, and these are privately run missions. These are not run by the government.
When the beds are full?
Okay, I'm not going to argue.
Where are we supposed to sleep if the beds are all full?
The beds aren't full. There is space available in both programs.
How many beds are there in both?
Here's the thing. If you are not going to participate in their programs to help get you off the street, it is not lawful for and live on the streets here. Yes, we've called every day for the last 10 days, and there is availability. There was 4. I'd have to confirm it with you. There was 4 at one or the other, and then they said they had space available at the Catholic Mission. 4 here, and space available. Yeah, I'm talking about this group right here that we're dealing with.
That I am literally in the same group as them, and I camp literally in the forest right now, and I've used the shelter. So that's 2.
They have availability in their programs, but you choose not to participate in it.
And at least 2 dozen people I've personally seen in the forest. That if you guys did an
there is availability. There is availability in the programs for you. If you choose to utilize them, you choose not to utilize them, and that's why you're in this predicament.
No, that is not a choice.
All right. Good night.
And you know it.
Are we done?
Oh yes.
All right.
All right.
We met.
Oh, okay.
We the people.
I'm going over here to ask my friend for a cigarette.
I'm done. No, I'm done. Okay. We the people.
I hope you're done. Jeez. Oh, he does?
Dispatch just confirmed it.
Oh, okay. All right. The guy in the here?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. It is a choice.
Yeah, I chose you.
I did too.
Hell yeah, I did. Why not?
I'm sending it to 258.
Hell yeah, you are.
Every one of us are.
Okay.
By the way, you only get a minimum of 5 to 6 hours of sleep. We're always watching. Legally not healthy.
And it's extraditable? Wow. From Maine? Must be a good one. No, you can't be in the park between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. There are other trash cans available, including one right across the street. I appreciate you not littering, though. Thank you.
Sure is. Got to be able to show warrant. Otherwise, it's illegal search and seizure.
Y'all couldn't even do that while our vehicle wasn't.
You have to be able to prove you have a warrant. Telling someone you have one does not prove.
Yes. Even when
yeah, as long as he can stand and walk a short distance into the car, that'll help. Or 2 feet.
You guys are like robots. Like no emotion whatsoever. You're not human beings. You're robots, man. What the hell? No, really happened.
If they were good
Oh, that's true. They were good machines. They at least know the law.
they make the law, man.
He doesn't need to walk now. We can wheel him closer, but as long as he...
I'm just trying to figure out what
Let's wheel him... Let's wheel him over to the entrance here behind my car, and Russ will pull his car up. Does he have any other belongings with him that need to stay? Back, yeah.
Okay.
All right. We'll make sure that...
Sure, Captain.
Look at that.
Take you a couple drags of that before you go.
You know, Zachariah, you can't smoke in the park. It's unlawful for you to smoke in any city park.
For that too, because
All right.
we're protesting that as well.
You are?
Yeah,
All right.
we sure are. In fact, everything you're doing.
Is that
we're
your
protesting
constitutional
because
right
it's
to smoke in the park?
unconstitutional, As
All
per
right.
the Department of Justice. Everything
All right.
you have ticketed us for unconstitutional as per
Okay.
the Department of Justice.
All right.
No, you get to have fun with them. We don't. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It makes me happy. That's why I'm asking you.
This one guy just got out of prison.
Not to mention that ordinance is currently Old Town wide, yet there are brand new trash cans and ashtrays in the square.
It's not.
Right.
It
That's
doesn't.
not discriminatory at all.
It doesn't include the square yet. It's just park.
Actually, it does. We've read the ordinance. We have it on our phones.
In
and
the
on our
future,
tablets.
it will
Just so you
include
know,
Old Town Square,
it
but
went into effect on the 1st of this month.
yeah, which is just parks and natural areas only right now and public events.
No, it's
But not-
actually
Old Town's
down
not
as
included
well,
yet.
and it will be expanded.
Well, then you should know not to smoke down here. Then, if you know it so well.
Go ahead and Sergeant.
Is he ready? Can we wheel him over?
Did your
Yes.
vacation book yet? If it's only citable in parks and natural areas,
Right now.
then why is there a brand new sign right across the street from the courthouse at the parking garage?
Because it's a city facility. All city facilities are also banned. No, it's owned by the city. Any city facility. Yes, it's public access, but it's a city facility. That's why it's marked.
out the property to the city?
The city owns that parking garage.
No, they do not. No, they actually The federal government owns it because the federal government owns everything.
You're very convinced.
Right, every. You want to take your stuff.
You're very convinced. Good. Keep studying.
Overall.
Keep studying.
Of course. Oh yeah, you should probably go study your law. 'Cause
All right.
obviously
We
you
will.
don't know it. You couldn't even tell us your First Amendment right.
All
Not
right.
one of you could.
Okay. Have a good night.
On video. Don't
Remember,
tell me to have a good night.
You need to pack up your stuff and
No,
leave the
not
park.
everything. Come back inside us some more. Have a good night.
All right.
Federal
We
court.
will. All right.
Have a
We'll
good
be
night.
back. See you.
Be federally indicted.
We'll see you in an hour.
Have a wonderful night. Don't come back and we'll sue you. Oh wait, we already are.
Yeah.
My bad.
Oh,
Go ahead
okay,
and get
come
out of
on.
here now.
Let me grab my map. It's on my phone.
Come on.
Oh, we have a truck. Yes, we're taking all of it. Stay with me for a second. Hey, stay back over there for us, please. All right, thank you. All right, what's your name?
My name is Gene.
All right, Gene, let me
That's
show
all
you.
you're gonna
Okay, that's fine. I don't need your full name. I'm not asking you. All right, see the green line? That's the boundaries of the park. Okay, see how it goes all the way out to the street. These are the official boundaries of the park. See, it goes all the way to the railroad ties.
Okay, see, that ain't a map. That's like something you...
Satellite imagery of the park. It's satellite imagery of the park, and it shows you the boundaries. Boundaries end right at the railroad tracks. Over here.
Yeah,
Okay,
You're
who
gonna go
put
down
that
the
little
railroad
green
tracks?
thing on there?
This is the official map of the park. Okay, that's the official. It is unfortunate. So I'm just telling you, you can hang out over here as long as you don't block the sidewalk. But at 11, you have to leave this. I know. Yep. And not all of us knew this was in the park until recently. Yep. I know. It's different. But hey, if you've ever been to any of the other parks, like Adora Park or Roland Moore Park, any of the other parks in the city, they have sidewalks too, but they're still inside the park. So it closes at 11 and it opens back up at 5. You guys can come back. That's it. It's a relatively small area.
But for real, man, tell you the truth, dude. They only have so many bids in there, and they only so many. Even if 4 people did go and sleep, there's still like 20 people out here homeless or more.
Here's the thing. Well, you have you talked to either of these places about their long-term programs that help get you off the street?
You played the lottery, dude.
I know.
Played the lottery.
Some of them are difficult, but they have people drop out of those all the time because they don't want to stick through the program.
Where I come from, Southern Missouri.
All right.
They have 3 homeless shelters.
Okay.
They have 60,000 people. How many people are in this town?
I know.
A ton.
Yeah,
Way more than
150,000.
They have 2 freaking homeless shelters.
But the city also has a number of other resources too. They have apartments that help get people off the street. All you do is start. You have to start some of these programs and successfully complete those stages. You got to stay clean. You got to do some of those things in order to get access to some of those resources, and they will help you. But you got to try for them. They're available.
There's so many more homeless people out here.
Yeah. I don't argue with you. The population has increased. Yep.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
people are coming from all over.
I was homeless
Yep.
in Jonathan.
Yep.
I came out here for a better life.
Yep.
And it's starting to seem like the life's still the same. It's just, you know, actually out there the cops don't fuck with the homeless people like y'all do. For real, they don't.
Well, they probably don't have a camping statute. It's illegal for you to camp on the street.
Okay, that's another thing, man.
Yeah.
Camping involves tent.
No, it doesn't. No, unfortunately, when you're rolling out your stuff, that is, and sleeping. I understand. And you can argue that, but that is a law that we have to enforce. Okay. All right. All I can do is give you the advice to take advantage of some of these programs, research the programs that the city has available to, like Red Tail Pond, with the apartments. There's availability there too. Listen, did you? Did they? Okay. Last I heard, they still had availability. All I'm saying, and then just try to come up with a plan. Fall is coming. It's going to be snowing before you know it, and this is not going to be a comfortable place out here. All right, but it's going to get cold.
Oh yeah, it's going to get cold. It's cold everywhere.
When the beds are full, that's something that I'm sure they would consider. But we've never had a situation where both missions are completely full. So, but that's one of those things that they hope to work on. I don't want to see people abandoned out here on the streets either, especially once the weather gets bad, right? Okay. You know, and the police department doesn't run social services sides of things that can open more missions. You know what I mean? These are privately run. The rescue mission is part of the Denver Rescue Mission, which is a huge organization, and so they hopefully have the ability to expand. Yeah, it is private. It's private, but they're big. Yep.
There's a lot more going on behind it.
Yeah, I don't doubt that, but there's a lot more people with the city government, even the police department, that are trying to get more involved to try to find better ways to help. But well, we need you still need to abide by the laws. That's the problem. Sorry, go back to your question.
It takes some time, by the way, because this has got to happen. We got to deal with this, okay? Whatever it is that we're dealing with. This is where my brother and I are. Order, you know, the most recent article we saw in Colorado sums it up as the county, Mr. Smith, whatever jail guy, says that he needs extra funding for the jail because of all these people in jail. And of course, they're in there for multiple violations, and they basically claim that not a single person is in there for camping alone.
No.
And it's like,
not right now. Nobody's in there.
The thing though is that first, there might be warrants out that they're in for just other camping tickets for the jurisdiction. So I think there needs to be a little bit more research into that statistic fraud. Because I've heard a lot of people on the streets that are just here because they're escaping, basic persecution for sleeping in another town. So,
yeah. Well, fortunately for them, most of those warrants are non-extraditable. They're only extraditable in those towns. So, like many of the homeless that have warrants like that out of Denver come here and they can't be arrested.
Man, I know you guys have to do with something.
Well, he's got a warrant, unfortunately, out of Maryland, and they want him back in Maryland. And we're ordered by a judge to arrest him when the warrant's valid. So.
Well, the thing that bothered me most with this article was that, in the end, you guys even admitted, you're like, it's not even about the sleeping, it's all the other stuff. And so it's this blanket policy that you use the sleeping as a form of an illegal search and seizure to get a hold of people that otherwise you would have to get a hold of using normal legal methods, like after they commit the crime that you need to get them in jail for. And so they sit in jail for sleeping, and then all at the same time, all the other people that sleep on the street that can't, or like, I can't work with the shelter because of the schedule that my brother and I have. It just can't work. We've tried it in the past. This is my 4th time homeless. So legally speaking,
have you looked into the city resources then? That
absolutely.
you know? Okay.
No,
all right.
absolutely.
Not just because I know some of the privately run resources, their rules are a little different and a lot more strict or harder to stay in that program. But the city, I mean, if you're working and they have different conditions where they can help you. So obviously keep checking into those. But I can. The city courts are very lenient on people that get the camping tickets, especially if you go to court. They work with you on that. When people fail to go to court and get the warrant,
you guys actually would rather ticket and give us special agency and leniency in court for sleeping, just so you can get all your criminals. And so our time is wasted, where we're told to move along for sleeping when that's our only crime in the end. We don't have any warrants out. We don't go to jail for anything else. So what is it? Really, this is my own town.
Yeah.
If I can't do the work, that's a private entity that you guys can't make me go to.
I can't make you go to that now. But unfortunately,
so if I sleep outside of it, I've been told that I have to go outside of city limits.
Yeah, technically,
sleep in my own hometown.
Yeah, it's not legal to camp outdoors anywhere inside the city limits of Fort Collins. You can't do it.
By camping, you mean anything besides incidental damage?
Basically what the
daily living that you have to do. So you're making people live indoors, basically.
That's basically how they wrote the law. We didn't write it. Yeah, go ahead. Yep. Okay.
Well, hey,
I'm happy to discuss it with you, and I'm sorry. These laws are a lot older than I've ever worked here. I didn't write these. But we have to enforce them, and unfortunately, as the problems grow bigger, just like you said, you have people that come in that are homeless. They may start with just getting a camping ticket. That may be their first contact with police, but when they go on and commit other crimes, that's how they end up at the jail, and that's why there's such a large population of homeless. Even though the homeless population here is about 1/10 of 1% of the city's population, it is teeny compared to the city. But look what they say: 23% of the jail are homeless people that have committed misdemeanor or felony crimes. Not these municipal crimes. They're not in jail for that. They've committed other crimes. And we can't have a population of the people that create crimes at that level just not be held accountable for their crimes simply because they're homeless. You know what I mean?
The thing is that to find if they had committed those crimes in the first place, you use their fact that they...
Oh, you mean with the warrants, to find warrants.
Yeah, to find
and people, just like
sleep, because you know that they're going to be doing it.
But often it's others. They're trespassing, or they're because they're on somebody else's property when they're sleeping, or they're in the park when the park is closed. And just same thing as if I pull a car over for speeding, I identify the people in the car, and the driver in the car, and if I find out he's got a warrant from Kansas City, Missouri, he gets arrested for his warrant in Kansas City, Missouri. It's no different. We can't come and make you give your identification unless you've committed a criminal violation of some type. That's some type of violation.
Sleeping alone is not criminal.
Well, it is now. It is here now. So,
sleep illegal.
well, it's not
that
just
is by far
sleeping.
The most
but I see your side of the argument of that. Yep, I know.
If that's all that I'm doing in the end, and that's all you guys are doing, I'm just going to keep sleeping outside. Yeah. I'll just throw this out there, and this is the kind of food for thought. If there's ever something that would have anybody take away from this, is that one of the things that Dave and I see, the reason why this is even a problem is because not only does this town do this, every town does this, and so everybody sends every homeless population somewhere else.
Not every town has a camping statute.
No,
but a lot do.
And I've seen an article.
A lot rise.
That basically, what really disturbs me the most is the tree unrelated. And you guys are putting a new, city, everybody is putting a noose on the supply and cap of actual available housing.
Yeah.
And so you have, unrelatedness has nothing to do with...
well, and that's a code enforcement. It's not a crime. So that's just a code enforcement. You can't get arrested and go to jail for that. That's like letting your weeds grow too high. It is.
And, the way that...
But I can tell you in a college town...
See, that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Is that we've already talked to Dale over it, and he basically said it was started for the immigrants, and it ended up being rewritten and beefed up for the students. But every single person, you guys don't even give it people. Well, what's it? Unrelated, old, quiet people can't live together more than 3. Like,
Yeah,
is that really what it comes
I
down
don't know.
to?
We don't enforce that at all. We have nothing. Law enforcement has nothing to do with that statute. So we don't receive complaints on it or anything. That's code enforcement solely separate. And I have my own personal opinion on that. Yeah.
Well, hey, let me throw this at you.
Yeah.
Ready?
Huh?
My brother and I are in a lawsuit against the city.
Okay.
$20 million, $10 million each right now, because the city, through Dale Wood, attempted to fine us for breaking this unrelated rule.
Really? Okay.
We broke it for a year. Completely got away with it because we're quiet, we're respectful, we don't have problems with unrelated.
Yeah.
Somehow that's the case. And so when we couldn't pay rent 1 month, our roommates first illegally evicted us. Couldn't figure out how to actually...
That happens a lot, unfortunately.
Do it legally. Didn't realize they could do it legally themselves. So they throw all of our stuff out. When we called
That's
the
not
police
legal. Yeah.
to enforce our eviction rights, you guys let us back in. We really do thank you.
Okay.
But what happened next was where they got paranoid. Basically, the police had told them to contact their landlord, so their landlord got involved. The landlord said, I'm not going to evict them, but by you guys. So basically, the property manager let them stay to deal with it otherwise. And so we signed a big promissory note. We all agreed. We thought we could be out in 30. And so basically, we didn't know that our landlords had lied to the property manager, said that we had left by day 20. And so they put themselves in a predicament where they didn't think that we were going to leave, didn't think that they could evict us, didn't think that their landlord could help us because they would get in trouble for, revealing that they had lied about us leaving.
Yeah.
And basically couldn't get the police involved because they already threw our stuff out, and we found out that we have eviction rights. So it's this black hole that she literally thought, one of our roommates, Wendy Ann Hamrick, basically thought that she could get out of this 3 unrelated rule that she thought maybe was coming down the pipe, put a complaint into the city, totally defamed us, saying that it's this toxic situation that they put us in, when she actually signed the city's disclosure statement saying she would break the unrelated rule before she even moved in, and she signed it and moved in anyway because we were down there and it was a discount rent. Everyone was guilty, everyone. But here's the thing, is that we were only guilty of just breaking it for our needs.
Yeah.
They were guilty of co-conspiring with the city. Because when they actually got the complaint, the city took the complaint, and it started finding just my brother and I. And Dale would literally...
they didn't find any of the other occupants that were living there.
He, in fact, was actually complaining to us, like, what was I supposed to do? They sat down with me and were complaining to me that these people were in their basement and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And he basically took the complaint. We exercised the right to remain silent, and we watched him as he fined us. And I had moved out the day after my first fine, so there's 2.5 weeks there that I'm not even there for, that I'm being fined for, because he thinks he just doesn't need to do an inspection at all. And so there's $1,000 a day for 26 days straight. Well, you wouldn't believe this. They actually... What was that?
I didn't know it was that high. That's crazy.
It's $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
No. We get to court, and it's actually $2,726 a day. And so basically... for the first couple of days, my brother, who is very desperate, disabled from being wronged by a bunch of previous doctors and bad work environments, he has also been illegally evicted by family members and so forth. So this is the first time where he's going to exercise eviction rights.
Yeah.
And it just so happens to be the one time where they suspend their eviction because they don't want to do it because they don't think he deserves rights, and so they don't want to get in trouble for the 3 unrelated rule either, so they don't want to bring it to the 3 unrelated rule to the eviction courts. So basically, they end up, so Dale Wood fined the 2 of us for 26 days straight. For the first couple of days for David, they literally used the fine as a form of eviction and suspended the eviction, which means they actually gave him tenancy by not evicting him, not even serving him the notice to quit. They already served him the 3 days notice to quit. Now it's time for the summons complaint. They waited 10 days to serve that summons complaint because 5 days in, Dale Wood started fining. And so Dale Wood...
And Dale is the landlord?
Dale is the single...
or the guy that was rented?
Dale Wood is the single enforcement officer for the city.
Oh, okay. So he's
the finer, and he goes in and fines people.
Okay.
And basically, he ended up taking this complaint, fining us, and there was a 5-day period where they were basically using the fines as a form of an eviction, where after day 5, they're like, oh shit, the fines are going to work and getting rid of him. We need to resume our eviction. And so they finally resume their eviction proceedings, and we get to court and find out that they actually couldn't even get their facts straight, and they lied in the eviction courts, one party, about our tenancy. They said that we were there for a month and a half for a $400 flat rate. That was it. And so Dale Wood got a store that was 8 months. We were actually there for over a year.
Wow.
So nobody can get their story
No.
straight. And so Judge Lehman
Sounds like a
basically
mess.
doesn't even catch this in time. We totally reported it 2 months prior to the city even in figuring this out. And so because the court's so jacked and Dale was not doing his job and you guys are trying to thug people out. But
did you try talking to a supervisor with city code enforcement first, or did you kind of?
I saw 5 people's names on the door.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get out. It was 5 days later when I started getting fined. It said day 20 that I needed to be out by.
Yeah.
And on day 5, I started getting fined. As soon as I saw two notes on the door, my brother and I were like, "Well, Laura, we're not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, this is too serious." And so, sure enough, what happened?
Big money. Yeah.
Dale got stuck in his own little racket and basically couldn't stop finding us. And he fined us for 26 days, and it was $71,000 each that the courts were asking from us for being. Somehow, you guys were the victim in this case where we paid rent for a year unsuspected to you guys. And our own landlords couldn't figure out how to evict us, tried to call you in to evict us for you, and you basically gave us tenancy for days you fined us for, which we actually had no idea other than to call it racketeering. Theft, attempted theft. You extorted us. You tried to move us out. You didn't realize you didn't have
Well,
any
we can't evict people. For Police, you need the sheriff's department to do evictions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can just, and basically what we've seen is this racket where you thug people out with 1,000, you scare them, and then you always settle. And so the first question we got asked in pre-Raymond hearing was, what's your financial situation? Because they always want to settle with people, and all they're interested in is compliance. And so that's just so disingenuous.
I mean, I think the courts in general want to get both sides just to agree, but you know, and that's why they ask that instead of dragging it out and finding out the courts.
Other than David and I have started to see a theme where the landlords are usually in cahoots with the property managers, usually in cahoots with the owners, and usually in cahoots with the families and the city. And everyone on that side is really happy with this turnover. And they say that it's working. And what they don't understand is that it's statistics fraud because it looks like it's working for them because they're getting their house values. They're getting their quiet neighborhoods at literally the expense of literally thugging out the fourth unrelated person that their future paranoia can't handle might be unrelated. And so here's what I paint. This is what's going to happen unless it's lost stuff. It's going to get to a system where because you're putting a cap on supply and the unrelated person suffers and the family wins. You guys even already admitted to it. Your houses are turning over. So there's more families in family neighborhoods. That's what you want. You don't want any unrelated people in neighborhoods. You want families there. You want the unrelated people in the multi-dwelling units, the apartments, and so forth. And so what happens? You have a 3 unrelated rule that exists in a family neighborhood where there's no unrelated people for it to actually apply to, where all the families are calling problems on their neighbors, wasting taxpayer dollars, Dale going out, and basically all of his investigations come back negative. Sorry, I can't do anything about it. Everyone's related.
Yeah.
So I'm done with it. You know?
Yeah, I can see why you're frustrated. I wish I knew. I don't really know much about it because we don't deal with that.
I see this law popping up everywhere, and so all the cost of livings are going up for all the cities in this country, and everyone goes online looking for a place to live, and they look for the price of rent, and every single place you have to pay at least a third to a second of a house. Really has like a 2 unrelated, I think. Someone told me. Wow. And so. You know,
and when demand is high, the prices go up.
And so, there was a dissenting judge on a Supreme Court ruling that had, made this apparently constitutional back in the 70s. But he was the lone judge that actually figured it out. It basically said, give it some more even-handed legislation. Do something like for adults and independents. Don't make it a system where it benefits one side and it hurts the other.
Yeah.
So that's our beef. And thanks for listening because you got to see this now because we're in this.
Yeah.
We have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
So, literally, what pisses me off is that I get the discrimination of being in the forest, being ticketed by Mike West and Wes Haynes, who also have warrants out in my world because you guys, citizens arrested him, and basically he was harassing us. And no one will believe that I actually citizens arrested a person, which I read the statutes, says I can do. But anyways, I get harassed by these people in the forest for camping, and then I wear the exact same garb, and I get the exact same air mattress set up, and I go to the corner over there, and nobody tickets me for 8 hours in the middle of the night. Hundreds of cops.
There's just a lot of variables involved in that.
So I look like I'm more sleeping over there, and you don't want to ticket me. You want to use discretion. But in leniency in the courts or you're blending the courts, and it's getting so bad. You know where to draw the line, and while you may be able to distinguish that I'm sleeping over there, Mike West is digging himself a grave in the forest right now because he can't stop himself. Because all I'm doing is sleeping. And federally, it was already struck down that until there is a more permanent solution with the bedding and the shelters, like some sort of plan to suspend, tickets when the beds are full, you can't go actually moving people who need to sleep. Yeah. It's the most disrespectful, downright genocidal behavior that we experience on a daily basis. So I'm not directing this towards you. Thanks for doing your job. I personally think that this is all easements. You really should go talk to your real estate agent.
The city lawyer said it's not. So,
when it comes to the camping and the trailer, every single town does it. Everybody's people's cost of living going up. No one wants to deal with everyone else's problems.
No.
I guess
I don't disagree with you.
But the fact is no one is willing to admit that the city tried to steal $141,000 from us. That's what's so funny about it. Is that we can't even get to people fast enough, because it just happened so fast. You guys, you're literally one of the most contact points in the history of this lawsuit because you are seeing the other side of it. Because Dave and I are literally having to live it because our due process is so backwards that we have to be out on the streets to get our paperwork done because we're literally 12-year witness tampering from a Judge Blair. So I don't even want to get in that. Basically, we can't be in the shelters, and we've tried in the past, and I've been kicked out of that for working late when being told to. And I was given 3 months there, and that was it.
And the time ran out. Yeah.
And what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And I literally have no help from anybody, and to me, I can't think of myself leaving town every night. My brother can't physically do that every night. So until you guys come up with a solution, if you don't suspend these tickets all out right together, all it's going to do is potentially add up as more evidence against you in a giant human trafficking ring. And you're all going to be fired. All of you. And because when it comes down to David and everybody else in this, and all the criminals out there deserve to sleep.
No, I understand your point. Unfortunately, I got to go to another call. Good luck with I hope that stuff turns out with the civil stuff for you.
Well, it's criminal now. You guys tried to, put together with landlords.
Well, that's still all civil. That's got nothing to do with us.
No,
all right.
Criminal charges against
All right. Make sure you pack up your stuff and leave.